baritone whisper then, which was in my head quite sexy. So we've got two readings today, and both of them are quite long. Janet's going to read our first one for us, please, which is from Isaiah.
So the first reading is from Isaiah 58. Shout, a full throttle shout, hold nothing back, a trumpet blast shout. Tell my people what's wrong with their lives. Face my family Jacob with their sins. They're busy at worship and love studying all about me. To all appearances, they are a nation of right living people, law-abiding, God-honouring. They ask me, what's the right thing to do? And love having me on their side. But they also complain. Why do we fast and don't look our way? Why do we humble ourselves and you don't even notice? Well, here's why. The bottom line on your fast days is profit. You drive your employees much too hard. You fast, but at the same time you bicker and fight. You fast, but you swing a mean fist. The kind of fasting you do won't get your prayers off the ground. Do you think this is the kind of fast day I'm after? A day to show off humility, to put on the pious, long face and parade around solemnly in black? Do you call that fasting? A fast day that I, God, would like? This is the kind of fast day I'm after. To break the chains of injustice, get rid of exploitation in the workplace, free the oppressed, cancel debts. What am I interested in seeing you do is sharing your food with the hungry, inviting the homeless poor into your homes, putting clothes on the shivering ill-clad, being available to your own families. Do this and the lights will turn on, and your lives will turn around at once. Your righteousness will bathe your way. The God of glory will secure your passage. Then when you pray, God will answer. You call out for help, and I'll say, here I am.
Thank you, Janet. If you could just pass the microphone. Our second reading from Matthew, please.
Okay. So Matthew 5, verses 13 through 20 from the Message. Let me tell you why you are here. You're here to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavours of this earth. If you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage. Here's another way to put it. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colours in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. Don't suppose for a minute that I've come to demolish the scriptures, either God's law or the prophets. I'm not here to demolish, but to complete. I'm going to put it all together, pull it all together in a vast panorama. God's law is more real and lasting than the stars in the sky and the ground at your feet. Long after stars burn out and earth wears out, God's law will be alive and working. Trivialise even the smallest item in God's law, and you will only have trivialised yourself. But take it seriously, show the way for others, and you will find honour in the kingdom. Unless you do far better than the Pharisees in the matters of right living, you won't know the first thing about entering the kingdom.
Thank you. 2 very long readings. It's not always the same that we have 2 long readings, but there we are. So, I wanted to talk to you about salt. What do we use salt for? Labour? Or flavour? That's a new one on me. Flavour, yeah, to flavour our food. Gritting the roads.
It was used for preserving food.
Preserving food. Cleaning, yeah, you can get stains off with salt. So yeah, gargling salt water or even snorting salt water, and then you've got blocked tubes. Nice, salt bath, yeah, good. Killing slugs, before slug pellets were invented, if you don't want any cruel the other way around.
It used to be a form of payment and Roman Empire.
Say that again.
It used to be a form of payment in the Roman Empire.
It used to be a form of payment. It was a very, very rich commodity, salt. Cleaning, yeah, we said that.
Artwork.
Artwork, interesting. There you go, there's a bit of artwork. I created it here. That's why there's no reference. So salt is something that is necessary, I think. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, we didn't say cleaning out wounds actually was one of the things that they used to use salt for and still do, debriding items. And in the passage, it talks about salt being used, we're used as God's flavouring, if you like, and that the importance of it is that it's there in everything that you do, and it can be used for so many different things. I was going to do a little experiment at the front, but I couldn't be bothered, so I'll tell you what I was going to do. 2 glasses, and I was going to put an egg in them, but in one the egg was going to sink to the bottom, and in the other one the egg would have just floated on the top. And that was just because there was a teaspoon of salt mixed into it. Salt lifts you up. You like that? Good. One person appreciated it, thank you. Salt lifts you up. Salt gives you that extra zing that you need. So what happens when we lose our saltiness? Do we think the church has lost its saltiness? I think the church is too salty. Excellent. That's interesting. Why do you think it's too salty?
Well, if you eat food that's got too much salt in it, it's kind of offensive and not in a good way.
Okay, so you can have too much salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So some churches have got too much salt going for them.
Also, because of like young lingo idea. It means like bitter. You know, like just salty about something, you're really bitter about it.
Okay, learning new stuff again today. Apparently you're salty. The youth say if it's salty, it's what bitter. Well, you're bitter about something.
Yeah.
Not bitter as in sweet and sour then.
No, bitter is in like piss off.
Bitter as in pissed off. Don't swear in the church.
When's that ever stopped you?
It's never stopped me. Just another 4-letter word or 6-letter word. So salt is needed for lots of things, and I don't know about you, but chips without salt on, gotta have salt on, and even better if you're by the sea while you're eating them. And then light. So quite often at the beginning of a church service that you go to, someone will light the candle. I got all the candles out today. I thought, we're going to have the non-binary, we're going to have the trans, and we're going to have the rainbow. I'll save the other. Nah, actually, just write it down. So what do we use? Okay, we use candles, and in a church they're to represent Christ being with us. What other things do we use light for? Say again? Seeing, so seeing in the dark, yeah? To show someone with air, so particularly if you've got a bike light on the bike, it's not really to show you the way in Cardiff, it's to say, I'm here, unless you're a delivery driver, cyclist, and then you apparently don't believe in lights. Say again? In the dentist? Yeah, so they can see in. Find something, yeah. Broadband. Fibre optics, yeah. Studying, okay. Okay. Spotlight. So to highlight someone.
Yeah, to show somebody on the stage, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. Look at you. Priest speak. To cast shadows, yeah. Puppet stuff.
Lasers.
Yeah, so fun. And also for surgeries and things like that. Okay, guided missiles. Say again? Fireworks, yeah. So we use light for a lot of things. We use it to focus as well. So we'll have a candle burning on the screen a little bit later so that you can focus on it if you want to during prayers. We have real candles, obviously, to do the same thing. We also use candles at Christmas time, when we're lighting one for each of the candle in Advent time and then Christ in the morning, because Christ is the light of the world. Now in the Isaiah reading, and this all does come together, but in the Isaiah reading, God says, what do you mean by fasting? What kind of fasting are you doing? The people are basically saying, well, when we fast, you don't notice us. You know, we're not important. And God says, that's because the fasting you do isn't right. You're overworking your workers, and you're basically thinking of yourself while you're fasting. It's for your own personal gain. And the fasting that God wants us to do is fasting that clothes other people, that feeds people, that is basically doing all of the things that should be right with the world: justice, mercy. When we don't generally fast in our denominations, even the conformist, non-conformist, generally Christians don't fast unless it comes to Lent, and then some people do some kind of fasting. And one of the questions is going to be about Lent, so we will discuss that a little bit because it's coming up very shortly. But what all these kind of the Old Testament reading this week, there's a direct line to the Matthew reading, to the Gospel reading. They're talking about the same thing. And one of the things they're talking about is that light is meant to be shown, and you're not meant to hide it away. We don't light a candle and then kind of, if I take this candle, I've lit this candle and then I'm just going to put it here. Like, is that helpful to anyone? Not really. We don't light a light to be hidden. And it says in the reading, we don't light a light to be put under a bushel. We put it on a light stand and we let everybody see it. So as Christians, we should be shining our light and showing people the light of God, and not hiding it away somewhere so that no one can see it. We should be getting our salt out and saying, this is the flavour of God, and this is what Christ is wanting us to do. Not deciding to keep it to ourselves. And when we do things like fasting, we shouldn't be doing it because it's I'm really good, I'm not going to eat chocolate during Lent. And then that's going to help who? Maybe a waistline, but not really going to help that many people. Maybe, rather than eating chocolate during Lent, you could give chocolate to someone else during Lent and make their life happier during that time. Unless they're lactose intolerant, please don't do that. So all of these things together leads us to kind of our questions that we're going to look at. So the first question is, just as salt has lost its flavour, have we forgotten what or who we are? And this is in reference to being Christians, or believers, or Christ followers, or whatever you want to call it. The next question is, why do we sometimes hide our light? These readings are clearly saying that we should be using our light and showing it and definitely telling people about God and about Jesus. So why do we sometimes decide to hide that away? And then I thought we would, because Lent is coming up, I'd like you to share what you do or have done during Lent. So either what you're planning to do this year, or what you've done in the past. But this time, might we look at how we might remember the words of Isaiah. So remember what God actually wants us to do with that fasting. I've just put chapter 58 just to remind you that that's where it is if you want to go back and look at it. And then I forgot what I was going to say. So for those of you who don't know about Lent, Pancake Day, obviously the most important. The whole idea was that Pancake Day used up your eggs and your flour, things like that, and then you didn't have eggs and flour for the whole of Lent until Easter. So that's where it originally came from, and this idea of fasting during Lent. Some people give stuff up, some people take stuff up. So please have a kind of open discussion about those kind of things. I've done enough talking because my throat is really hurting now. So I'm going to leave that there for the people online. So goodbye to the people online. Have they already gone?
No.
Oh, okay. The lights are off.
Okay.
Okay, well, bye if you're still there, and if you're not, bye.